It's a Tuesday, 8:14 in the morning. You are standing at the counter of the coffee place on the corner of your building, the one with the chipped subway tile and the chalkboard nobody updates, and you are holding your card out the way you've held it 10,000 times before. The order is a large oat milk cordido and a slice of the banana bread. $6.41. The barista is deaf. He's been here 3 years. He knows your name. He knows you tip in cash. He's already turned to steam the milk before you finish saying it, because that's the kind of regular you are. You tap the card. The reader thinks. Then it does the thing it has never done before. It flashes red. Declined. You laugh. It's reflexive. You say something about the chip being worn down. You flip the card and tap again. Red again. Declined. And in the half second before you reach for the second card, something cold moves through you. Something that has nothing to do with the air conditioning, because some animal part of you already knows. It already knew on Sunday. It knew at the gas pump on Friday. It's been knowing for months while the rest of you kept ordering the cordido. You are wearing a charcoal merino sweater that cost $210. Your watch is real. Your shoes are leather and they were resold once by a man named Sal who charged you $40 and called it a steal. You look to Dev, to the woman behind you in line, to the entire waking world, exactly like a person who can afford a $6 coffee. You make $200,000 a year, and your card just got declined for $6.41. This is not a story about a bad month. This is a story about a machine. A quiet, patient, beautifully engineered machine that you built yourself, one reasonable decision at a time, over the course of 9 years, and the machine has exactly one job. Its job is to make sure that no matter how much comes in, the amount that stays is zero. You hand Dev the second card. It goes through. He never knew. That's the whole problem, actually. Nobody ever knows. You've gotten so good at this that even you forget, most days, which is why a Tuesday in June can still ambush you at a coffee counter. So let's do the thing you have spent 9 years refusing to do. Let's stand here, under the fluorescent lights, and find the exact moment it happened. Start at the beginning. Start with the kid who made $52,000. That was you at 24. One bedroom you shared with a guy named Marcus who DJ'd on weekends. A futon. A car with 110,000 miles and a check engine light you named. You ate rice. You split a Costco rotisserie chicken across 3 days. And here is the part nobody tells you. The part that should be tattooed somewhere you'd see it every morning. You were, by every measure that matters, fine. You weren't rich. But the gap between what came in and what went out was a real gap. And you could see it. In some months you even put a little into the gap and watched it sit there. Then the raises came. They always come, if you're any good, and you were good. 68,000. Then 85. Then the jump to 115 when you switched companies. And the recruiter, a woman named Priya, who'd been placing people for 14 years, said the number into the phone like it was a gift she was personally handing you. Then 140. Then the title with senior in front of it and 170. Then, 2 years ago, the offer that broke 200 for the first time, and you sat in your car in a parking garage and you felt, for about 90 seconds, like you had won. Here is what you believed. The same thing everyone believes. When I make more, I'll save more. It is the most reasonable belief in the world. It is also a lie, and it's the lie this whole thing turns on. So here is the true thing. Once, plainly. And it's going to repeat until you can't unhear it. The raise didn't change your life. It changed your floor. Every single time the number went up, the thing you called your normal went up to meet it silently. Within about 60 days, before the third paycheck at the new rate had even cleared. The $52,000 version of you would look at your apartment now and think a king lived here. And the $200,000 version of you stood at a counter this morning and couldn't buy banana bread. Same person, same competence, same hands. The money came. It just never arrived. It passed through you like light through a window, and you stood there in the warmth of it and called that wealth. You do math in your head. You've always done it, but lately you do it more, and you do it in a specific place, at red lights, in the 4-second gap before the car behind you honks. You do it like a prayer you're embarrassed to be caught saying. Okay, paycheck hits Friday. That's about $5,800 after tax. Rent's already gone, $2,900. Card minimum, the big one, that's $410. The other card, the one for the furniture, $190. Car, $640. The lease, not a loan, you don't own a bolt of it. Phone, the watch payment, the 2 streaming things you keep meaning to cancel, and the 3rd one you forgot exists. The gym you went to in February. You run the numbers and the light turns green and you drive. And you've arrived at the same answer you always arrive at, which is, it's fine, it works, it just barely works, and you press the gas a little harder than you need to. Let's actually do it. Out loud. No flinching. $200,000 a year sounds like a fortress. Then the government takes its piece and you're at roughly $13,000 a month landing in the account. Rent is $2,900, and you'll defend that number to anyone. You'll say it's reasonable for the area, and it is. That's what makes it lethal. The leased SUV, the 2023 with 9,000 miles and the smell still in the seats, is $640 a month, plus the insurance that quietly became $190 after the parking thing you don't talk about. Then the cards, 3 of them, carrying a balance that hovers, depending on the month, somewhere around $31,000, and you pay the minimums, the small printed numbers in the corner, and the interest on that, at the rate buried in the agreement you signed without reading, is roughly $540 a month that vanishes and buys you nothing. Not a meal, not a memory. It's rent on money you already spent. And the small ones. The $19 salad at lunch because the free office coffee is fine, but you're not an animal. The Tuesday dinner that was supposed to be cheap and landed at $86 after the second round of drinks nobody really wanted. The subscriptions, you counted once, 11 of them, $80-some. The streaming, the cloud storage you doubled because you ran out of room for photos you never look at, the meditation app you've opened twice, the news site you read the headlines of and nothing else. And you let it all ride because canceling them felt smaller than your life should feel. The dinners, the rounds you grab because you're the one who makes the most. Everybody knows you're the one who makes the most. So of course you reach for the check. And your card, the same card, covers 4 people's mezcal, while a number you refuse to look at climbs in the dark. Add it up, and the fortress is a sieve. The raise didn't change your life. It changed your floor. And the floor, it turns out, has a basement. Here is the part that should frighten you. And it's the part almost nobody describes, because it doesn't happen in daylight, and it doesn't feel like anything at all. It happens at 3 a.m. Not to you. You're asleep. You have a nice mattress. You financed it at 0% for the first year, and then it wasn't 0%, and you didn't notice the month it changed. It happens to your account. Because somewhere around the time you crossed 140,000, you did the responsible sounding thing, the thing every article told you to do. You automated everything. Set it and forget it. And you did. You forgot it. Magnificently. So now, while you sleep, the machine runs. The first of the month, 12:01 a.m., the rent ACH fires. The 4th, the car. The 7th, the first card's autopay, the smallest amount they'll accept, the setting you chose on purpose during a busy week, because choosing that number meant you didn't have to decide anything. The 9th, insurance. The 12th, the storage unit. You have a storage unit, by the way, $61 a month, holding boxes you have not opened since the move 2 years ago, furniture from the old place you're keeping for the next place, the bigger place, the one in the future where this all finally makes sense. The 14th, a cluster of small ones, the subscriptions, fired in a little burst like a heartbeat. You have never once watched this happen. You've never had to. That was the whole appeal. And this is the engine. This is the actual machine, the one that ambushed you at the counter. The raise didn't change your life. It changed your floor, and then you wired the floor directly to your bank account so it could collect itself, automatically, in the dark, without ever asking your permission again. You took the one thing you should have left hard to do, and you made it effortless. You made the bleeding silent and called it being organized. There's a specific number that lives at the center of all this, and you know it the way you know a sound in your house at night. Your checking account, on a normal day, 3 days before payday, holds somewhere between $211 and, on a good month, maybe $900. Your savings account has $400 in it. It has had $400 in it for 2 years. You opened it with great intentions and a transfer of $400, and you have not added a cent since, because every dollar that could have gone there was already promised, in the dark, at 3 a.m., to the machine. Your net worth, the real number, everything you own minus everything you owe, is, if you're honest, if you count the cards and the lease and the loan against the mattress and the nothing in the bank, almost exactly zero. Some months it's a small negative. You, on $200,000 a year, are worth less than the kid on the futon eating rice. He had $400 and no debt. You have $400 and $31,000 in debt. He was richer. He just didn't know he'd peaked. Now the costume. Because the costume is not free, and the costume is most of the crime. You are not buying things. Let's be precise, because precision is the only kindness left here. You are not a person who loves stuff. You don't get a thrill from the watch. You wore it twice this month and didn't notice it either time. What you're actually buying, what every line item is secretly buying, is the look of a person for whom the money is no problem. You're buying the right to never be seen flinching. The sweater isn't a sweater. It's evidence. The SUV isn't transportation. Your commute is 11 minutes. It's a statement you make to a parking attendant named Hector every morning, a man who will never think about you once you're inside the building. The check you grab at dinner isn't generosity. Not really. It's a down payment on an identity, the guy who's doing great, the one nobody worries about. And the cruelest part, the part that should make you sit down, is that the costume works. It works perfectly. Everyone is convinced. Your mother tells her friends you're doing so well. Your younger brother, who actually has $11,000 saved on a $40,000 income because he's scared in the specific way that makes people careful, asks you for money advice. You give it to him. The advice is good. You don't take any of it. And here's the loneliness, the thing under the math, the thing underneath all of it. There is no one you can tell. That's the trap snapping shut. The better the costume works, the more impossible it becomes to take off, because taking it off doesn't just cost you money. It costs you the only version of yourself other people can see. To say it out loud, I make $200,000 and I have $400 and I'm scared, would not just be embarrassing. It would feel like a death. So you don't. You smile, you grab the check, you wear the sweater, and you do the math at the next red light, alone, where the only witness is a stranger in the car behind you who thinks you've got it made. The raise didn't change your life. It changed your floor. And then it handed you a costume to make sure you'd never admit the floor was made of paper. It was a Thursday in April when it almost broke open. You weren't ready for it. You never are, because it doesn't come from your enemies. Your enemies you can perform for all day. It came from Eli. Eli's an old friend. College. He's a high school teacher, makes maybe $63,000, drives a Corolla with 140,000 miles, and he is, in a way you find almost unbearable to be near, settled. Not rich. Settled. You were at a bar. You'd grabbed the first round, obviously $28, obviously your card, and Eli wasn't bragging. That's what made it lethal. He was just talking. He mentioned, the way you'd mention the weather, that he and his wife had finally hit a year of expenses saved. A full year. If it all fell apart tomorrow, they'd be okay for a year. And then he asked you the wrong question. Not a mean question. The worst kind. A kind one. You're way ahead of us on that, right? You must have a serious cushion by now. There's a particular silence that happens inside you in a moment like that. It's very fast and very total. It's the silence of every number arriving at once. The $400, the $31,000, the 211 in checking, the savings account that hasn't moved in 2 years, all of it standing up at the same time inside your chest while your face, your trained and excellent face, does something else entirely. You feel the warmth climb the back of your neck, slow and specific, and you reach for your beer just to have somewhere to put your eyes. You actually nod. You nod while the worst number you own is sitting in your throat. You hear yourself say, "Yeah, man, you've got to stay on top of it." Which means nothing. Which is a sentence built specifically to mean nothing, assembled from spare parts, sanded smooth, designed to slide past a kind man without catching on anything true. And Eli nods back, satisfied, because of course you're fine. You make 3 times what he makes, and the conversation moves on, and you take a long pull of a $9 beer to give your hands something to do. And your face holds. Your face always holds. And that, the holding, is the loneliest thing you will do all week. He has a year. You have a Tuesday. If your income stopped this Friday, you would not make it to the end of the month. The man with the Corolla and the $63,000 salary could survive 12 times longer than you without earning another dollar. You have spent the entire night being quietly, privately certain you're the successful one in this friendship, and the math has been sitting at the table the whole time, drinking nothing, saying nothing, just watching you pick up the check. So here it is, the night you actually looked. It's not dramatic. None of it is dramatic. That's the thing you'll have to make peace with. There's no bottom you hit, no scene, no one yelling. There's just a Wednesday night, 11:40. You can't sleep, and for reasons you won't be able to explain later, you open the banking app and you do the thing you have engineered your entire life to avoid. You stop looking at the checking balance, which is the only number you ever look at, the daylight number, the do I have enough for today number, and you tap into the part you never open. The statements, the whole accounting, 38 of them, going back, 38 unopened statements, a little red badge you trained your eye to slide past. And you start adding, not the bank you, on the back of an envelope, a real envelope, the electric bill, because somehow doing it by hand is the only way you'll believe it. Total debt, all of it, every card and the loan and the negative equity nonsense on the lease that means you owe more than the car is worth. $31,000 for $117. Total liquid, everything you could actually touch by Friday. Maybe $1,200 if the paycheck's already in. You sit with the pen and you do the subtraction a child could do, and the number it gives you is a number with a minus sign in front of it, and you look at that minus sign for a long time. Then you do the worst math, the one that actually lands. You take that $540 a month, the interest, the rent on money you already spent, and you walk it backward across the 9 years. You add up, roughly, what the machine has cost you, not in dollars, but in the dollars those dollars would have become. And it's tens of thousands. It's a number that, had it gone the other way, had it compounded instead of bled, would be sitting in an account right now with your name on it, large enough that Eli's question wouldn't have been a knife. It would have been easy. You'd have said, "Yeah, I'm okay," and meant it. And the realization, when it finally comes, does not feel like an earthquake. This is the part every story lies about, so hold still for it. There's no music. The refrigerator is humming. A car goes by outside and throws light across the ceiling and takes it away again. You're sitting at your own kitchen table in a $600 chair you're still paying for, holding an electric bill with a number on the back of it. And the only thing you feel is a kind of quiet, level clarity, almost peaceful, the way a room goes still after a sound you didn't know was loud finally stops. The raise didn't change your life. It changed your floor. You just never once, in 9 years, walked down the stairs to see how far down it went. It's Tuesday again, 8:14 in the morning. You're standing at the counter of the coffee place with the chipped subway tile, and Dev is already turning to steam the milk, and the card is in your hand. Same scene, back where you started. Not an accident, because nothing out here has changed. The sweater still costs $210. The SUV is still in the garage with its 9,000 miles. You still make $200,000 a year, and the world still looks at you and sees a person who has obviously, comfortably, made it. The costume still fits. The machine is still running. Right now, quietly drafting the floor out of your account while you wait for a core to do. The only thing that's different is you finally said the real number to yourself. Out loud. Almost. Your lips moved at the kitchen table, and you can't unsay it. And here's the strange mercy in that. The thing nobody warns you about on the way down. Knowing doesn't feel like shame anymore. The shame was in the not looking. The shame lived in the 38 unopened statements, in the math at the stoplight, in the sentence built to mean nothing. The number itself, once you finally hold it in your hand, is just a number. It's heavy, but you can pick it up. You can carry it. You couldn't carry the not knowing. That's the thing that was actually breaking you, and you'd carried it so long you thought its weight was just what being alive felt like. You tap the card. It goes through this time. $6.41. Dev says, "Have a good one." The way he says it every day, and you tell him you will, and the small bell over the door does its small, ordinary sound as you step out into a Tuesday that looks exactly like every Tuesday before it. But you're doing the math differently now. Not at the stoplight, hidden, ashamed, on purpose, with your eyes open. Because the machine you built, you can dismantle, one reasonable decision at a time. The same way you built it, the autopay you finally log in and change, the lease you don't renew, the check you let someone else grab, the costume you take off one quiet piece at a time in front of no one. It will not feel like winning. It will feel like a Tuesday. It will feel like a card going through for $6.41 and nobody, not Dev, not the woman in line behind you, not your mother, not Eli, knowing that anything at all just changed. That's how it ends. Not with champagne, not with a number you announced to anyone. Just you, on a corner, under an ordinary sky, holding a coffee you can actually afford now. And for the first time in 9 years, the quiet in your chest isn't the quiet of something hiding. It's just quiet. The machine made one sound its entire life. The sound of money passing through you and leaving nothing behind. And you finally heard it. And the moment you heard it was the moment it started, very slowly, in a way no one will ever see, to stop.